I had no idea I was living in survival. Didn't even know what the concept was of these survival strategies. But I'm so glad I know now, and I would like to share them with you. Is it possible that I could be living in a survival strategy and not even know it? I mean, just hurrying around and doing things and depending upon people and and everybody argues. And don't you just want to hide sometimes when life gets a little too tough? I mean, Tonya, that's just normal, isn't it? In this video and the one to follow, let's unpack and take a look at survival strategies that make up our heart conversations. And let's see how they're really playing a role in how we talk with ourselves and we talk with others. I know it might be difficult to take a look at something that you would just deem as normal, but let's take a look together and see if there's a way we can come up higher. Chapter number 5 in The Power of Heart Conversations is called Choosing the Direction of Your Heart Conversation. And let me get a little bit more centered here. We're at this crossroads at times when we begin to become aware of our heart conversations, and that has been the invitation in the chapters prior to this one. And now we're getting into decision making. How do we begin to navigate and make some changes? And we're going to explore and look at this framework that could be driving you more than what you realize in the next couple of chapters. I love this picture because I truly believe we're always at a crossroads, and until we have more information and understand, we will automatically go in one direction or another. I don't know how we can begin to make decisions as to the direction of our heart conversation without including how we feel. And I put this question here because it has been communicated in the churches that I've attended over the years that it really doesn't matter how you feel. Tonya, it doesn't matter because love is not a feeling, God is not a feeling. Let's see, feelings can really mislead you if you're always reacting to the way you feel. And they put it all into a all or nothing and said, throw out feelings. And the more that I began to experience my own heart transformation, the more I began to understand a little bit more of where they were coming from and what the positive intent was behind that. The invitation was, we don't want to be led by feelings that are driving, fueled by fear. We don't want to be experiencing feelings that show that are contrary to the nature and the life of God. So therefore we'll just throw them all out. But as we go to navigate and we go to learn how to choose our heart conversations, we're going to come to understand that feelings have a place. They have a vital place, actually, in letting us know what we are believing in the moment. And so if we just quickly abort them, if we just quickly experience that uncomfortable feeling and then just want to get rid of it, or just want to suppress it, or just want to say, well, that's not faith, so I need to get rid of that, we're going to miss what I truly believe is eternal. I truly believe that our transformation can be eternal, meaning that we can make a shift that will last the rest of our life. I know that might be a little too much of a stretch for some of you, but I've experienced it too much. So let me come back to today. Let me come back to where we are today. And I'm inviting you to consider that, yes, feelings do play a part in the direction of our heart conversations. But in the next chapter and 2, we're going to find out how and why to make the most of that. But I just wanted to put that in there for a moment. What we do automatically, we do unconsciously. I learned this in my NLP training years ago, and it was probably one of the most profound statements at that time for me to remove shame, to really disconnect. Maybe that would be a better word, to disconnect the feeling of shame from patterns that I did not like in my life. And I put here, there's a couple of pictures and images. I know this one is starting to get outdated, but if you're my age or around my age and you know about telephones, and it was something that was pretty amazing when we started to have automatic dial. When you had an automatic dial, you would program somebody's number, and then that way, if you wanted to reach that person, you just pressed 1, and all of those numbers automatically followed suit the same time to give you that person. Now, I guess in our cell phones, we have the same thing. If I want to call my husband, then I hit one button and it follows that series of automatic numbers to reach him. It's the same thing that happens inside of us with our thoughts, with our feelings, and our behavioral patterns. We have this sequence. We have this sequence of thoughts and how what we hear inside and the images that they create that create different types of feelings, and we run these automatic patterns. And then our body, as we look at image number 2, our body just follows suit. It's like, oh, okay, here's the program. Let's just follow it. Our bodies are objective. They follow your lead. They follow your heart. They follow your programs within your heart. They follow your programs that the heart and the mind have together. So your body is not bad. Your heart is not bad. Your feelings are not bad. They are programs, though. They are patterns. And when something pushes a button for a certain situation, it's going to run through that pattern and your body is going to respond. Now we get back into the title of this particular chapter, which is choosing your heart conversations. How to do that? Well, awareness is always going to be the first step to choosing differently. If we've had this automatic pattern going on, it doesn't mean that we cannot change that pattern, because we can, but we won't until something interrupts that pattern or until we become aware and we begin to make a change. So we're getting ready to dive into a few of the survival strategies, but I wanted to lay a little foundation here because I know what I'm talking about. And that might be the first time you've heard of the concept of survival strategy. And what do you mean by that? Well, we just came off talking about how we do things that we do automatically, we do unconsciously, meaning that's below our conscious awareness as to why we're doing what we're doing. It's just automatic patterns that happen. And psychologists, researchers have taken note as they observe human behavior, and they've come up with 4 different ways that they see that humans, that when we get afraid, we survive. We try to survive in that psychologically, emotionally. And this is very, very, very powerful when it comes to our heart conversations, because they're not separate and apart from the heart conversations that we have. So as we look at this, you might have heard of fight, flight, and freeze, but we're going to introduce a 4th one as well. And let's take a look at 2 of the survival strategies in this video that when fear gets a hold of that back part of your brain right there, that primitive part, and put you on lockdown into a surviving state of mind and heart. These are two of the four characteristics that you might see in yourself or in someone else. Let's walk through them together. The first one is freeze. And now we're speaking metaphorically here. And it's just like it sounds, and it's just like the image here. When someone is paralyzed by fear and they freeze, their body tends to, even physiologically contract. Their thinking contracts. They're not expanding, they're not creating, they're not thinking about connecting. They're just thinking about survival. And so contract, they'll hide. They even may try to camouflage themselves so that they're not seen. They feel safe in isolation. And modern day, we use the term couch potato. If I want to hide from being engaged in my life, if I'm trying to hide and avoid my own heart conversations, I might spend mindless hours and time on the couch watching TV, avoiding that inner world, avoiding others. And we have that hermit mentality. You know what a hermit is, right? It's the snail-like, probably in that class of the animal that's inside of the shell. And so the hermit, if it feels afraid, what does it do? It has its shell to protect. So I go in and I hide. This is one of the survival strategies when fear activates that primitive part of our brain, and that is you just want to freeze, isolate, go hide. The second one is flight. Now this one is a little, this one can be undetected at times because there's an element of productivity to some of the characteristics. But we'll talk about that here in just a moment. Look, we have panic and worry in our internal world. And in that, we're rushing. We are rushing. We're afraid we're going to be late. We're hurrying up because we got to get everybody out the door and to the school on time or whatever it may be. And so this fear kicks that primitive part of the brain, and we're not thinking about what's happening with other people. We're not thinking about anything else other than whatever heart conversation we're telling ourselves that has put us in a flight mentality. Now, one of the other things too, it may not even be going to a destination, but we are in that place of fearing, of being with ourselves, being with really hearing what our heart conversations are. Then I could keep myself busy. I can be very productive at work. I can even be overly productive at work or at home. Have you or someone you've known know that it's very difficult for them to be able to rest? Being able to slow down. Now, I'm talking about when fear is driving the behavior. You can hear the sound of busyness in their voice. You can hear the rushing in their voice. And it's almost at times they become like this martyr enslaved to their busyness, and they wear that as a badge. My question is, what are you trying to avoid by doing so? And if not you, can that be the question you ask when you see someone else in this kind of state and begin to ask, begin to have compassion for them? and maybe raise their awareness to something they're afraid of. What in the present moment is so fearful? What unresolved decision or situation or person has you in a stress response of busyness? Good questions to ask ourselves if we want to start learning how to choose heart conversations that are going to take us in a more life-giving situation, life-giving direction. Both of these strategies right here withdraw from others. In their heart of hearts, they are withdrawn from others. That's why it's easy to micromanage when you're really, really busy, looking productive. You're not thinking about connecting with people. You just want to be productive. Is there something wrong with productivity? No. And we'll talk about this in chapter 8. We'll look at how we can truly live and from the higher qualities of each of these strategies. But right now we're talking about when fear is governing your heart conversations in your life. Let's go ahead and dive into our life work right now. I found an image, if you can see the back of this, it has a heart and a brain because both are important. Your feelings are indicating on what you believe, and part of your beliefs are based upon what you're thinking about. So we want to pause and pay attention to how we react to stress. We want to be curious, observe. Don't rush to try to fix. Don't try to fix your thought pattern real quick. Just observe it. Hold back. Be that curious, childlike observer. This is something that I learned along the way. And guys, this really cuts to the chase of it. When I find myself stressed or in one of these stress strategies rather, I ask myself, what am I afraid of? Stop exploring all of those thoughts because you could be exploring your thoughts. Now you can observe them, but if you really want to get to the chase, ask what you're afraid of. I started to say because exploring all of those thoughts will just keep you going in circles. And when you ask, listen, let the Lord reveal to you what you are afraid of. And when it's revealed, receive mercy. Because we have a tendency to judge ourselves. We have a tendency to start using the reasoning mind and say, well, I shouldn't be afraid of that. Why am I afraid of that? Stop. All of that will block you from a true heart transformation. So be thankful. Receive some mercy, and I have learned how to be so lighthearted with myself. I love seeing myself because I can laugh. Not as a defense, not as a mask to get away from, but just like, Tonya, I can't believe what you just did. Or, I can't believe I was afraid of that. Wow, okay. And I can smile and be lighthearted with myself. I invite you to do the same. And then allow grace to teach you a higher way to be. And I capitalize that because before we do anything, we have thoughts and feelings that really make up our state of being. And so we want to learn how to shift from those survival strategies so that we can begin to observe. Taking that deep breath, putting some focus upon the heart. We'll talk about that as well in later chapters of some very simple techniques to start putting the body at rest the mind at rest, the heart at rest, so you can begin to be that observer. The only way that we're going to be able to choose more life-giving heart conversations is to slow down and observe. I'm just going to bring you back for a moment to this journal page, because this journal page with the Power of Heart Conversations, whether you get the book or not, you can find this journal page on the website at the address above, or just go to the website and you'll find that. It can help prompt through bringing to light some of the heart conversations that are surviving strategies and how you can begin to let those go. Observe, let go, and move forward. If this sounds like an overview, I guess it kind of is. I just really wanted to share with you my heart on some of these aspects of the chapter of the Power of Heart Conversations. I don't know if this will come up backwards or forwards or mirrored or what. I don't know. I guess I'll check in the video, but see how thin that is? It is an easy read, but it is filled with nuggets. And I know it's my mother, but I will tell you what my mother said. She said, Tonya, I got out my highlighter and I wanted to highlight different aspects of it. And she found herself highlighting almost all of it because it was just really resonating with her heart. And yeah, that's who this gift is for. And those of you, like myself, that want to truly learn what it means to live this Christ life from the inside out, it's going to start with our heart conversations. So I appreciate you staying with me today. And if you haven't caught some of the other videos that set up the stage for today, I invite you to go back and take a look. I'm going to put all of these on a playlist together for the Power of Heart Conversations. And in the next video, we will discover 2 more stress strategies, and we'll learn some more about how we can direct our heart conversations. All right, everyone, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.